everyone. I'm Paul Cowling with Film Independent, and welcome to our Thursday Coffee Talk. For those of you who don't know us, Film Independent is the non-profit arts organization based in Los Angeles. We produce the Independent Spirit Awards the day before the Oscar, and dozens of year-round screenings and workshops and panels and conversations like this. We currently have a matching donation fund running. The board of directors and friends of Film Independent have raised $80,000 as a matching fund, and we're trying to reach a goal of raising another $80,000 that will be matched by that fund. So we're on the last day of that today. So any donation you can make to Film Independent would be greatly appreciated. You can go to filmindependent.org/donate to make your donation. As little as $5 will be matched. As much as you want will still be matched. We're very close to making that $80,000. So any help you can offer would be greatly appreciated. But today it's all about acting, and we're bringing back the Actors Coffee Talk, one of the mainstays of the LA Film Festival. I'll do my intros in alphabetical order, and then we will let our actors take over. So with us today, his credits include The Hate You Give, Fences, LUV or Love from our friend Sheldon Candice. I don't know if Sheldon's listening, but hey Sheldon. And he is currently, can be seen in Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector. Russell Hornsby is with us. Hey Russell.
What's up? Looking at whiskers.
How you doing?
Good, I'm doing well, Thank you.
Next up, his credits include This Is Us, Stranger Things. He's a Spirit Award winner for the Robert Altman Award. That's the for the collective cast ensemble and casting director for Mudbound, from our good friend Dee Reese. And he can currently be seen, or just about to be seen, in Bull, which is opening, I believe, tomorrow on all good VOD outlets. Rob Morgan is with us. Hey, Rob.
Peace to the gods in the earth.
Did I get that right? Bull is opening tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Video on demand. It hits all platforms. So, yeah, check it out if you can.
How everyone is watching movies nowadays.
Congratulations, man.
Next up, she's a Spirit Award nominee for Best Debut Performance in Stranger Inside. She was nominated again for Best Supporting Female for Go for Sisters. And her other credits include The Shy and also Bull with Rob Morgan. Yolanda Ross is with us. Hey, Yolanda.
Hey.
Sitting on the stairs. That's a great location for a Zoom call. No one has sat on the stairs. I love it.
Well, I got to be the first at something.
Right.
And finally, she's the star of The Mob Doctor. She played Rachel, the owner of the Blue Cat in Ozark. What a journey that was. She also wrote and directed the award-winning Night Comes On, and can be seen in To the Stars, which came out on VOD last week. Jordana Spiro is with us. Hey, Jordana. Can you hear us? Are you on? Jordana is muted. Hold on. I'm going to unmute you. Hey, Jordana.
There I am. Hey, what's up?
Welcome.
There you go.
There you go.
And finally, our moderator today, you know him as Bubbles in the now classic series, The Wire. His other credits include the long-running Empire, Beautiful Boy, and one of my favorites, The Spectacular Now. Welcome, Andre Royo in the house.
Stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty.
So I'm going to let you guys chat for half an hour, and I'll come back to moderate some questions. The audience listening in can ask questions. Just hit the Q&A button at the bottom to open up the question panel and submit your questions there. Try and keep them related to acting. And yeah, I'll be back in half an hour. I will switch this over so everyone can see your lovely faces, and I will be back in half an hour. Take it away, Andre.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul. Look, we got a half hour, so you know, I don't want to take it over by talking too much, but I just want to say hi to everybody. Thanks to everybody for joining us. I don't know where Rob went.
Yeah, where do you?
Can't see Rob. The minute we go on,
He
turns off. See what I'm saying? he does all his good acting off camera. I get it. But I want to get the elephant out the room and just find out where everybody's at right now on lockdown and how everybody's feeling, and just make sure everybody's doing okay, because I know it's a trying time for us right now. But where's everybody at right now? Start with Russell. Where you at? How you doing?
I'm in the borough of Kings of here in New York. You know, the city. You know, they say about New York, they named it twice so they could double the price. So I'm here with my wife and my 2 kids in a very tight dwelling. You know, 5 and 3.
Wow.
So yeah, this is a nice respite. I tell my wife, going to work.
It's good to hear some other voices, see some other faces.
Yeah.
How about you, Jordana? Where you at?
I'm in between Brooklyn, and I actually got to be in my father-in-law has a house out in Long Island.
Okay.
So I'm here with my 5-year-old. My husband's a doctor, so he's in Brooklyn in urgent care, and also working with an interesting organization called, just to give them a little plug, COVID Bailout NYC, which is bailing guys out, medically vulnerable guys out from Rikers. And so he's working with them to make sure they get, you know, safe quarantining, their meds, all that kind of stuff. So we've been going back and forth, but we're trying to kind of stay separate. So it's just me and the 5-year-old. We are getting to know each other very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. I plugged her into a movie so I could have a grown-up conversation.
Nice.
Yes.
But then I realized Rob was going to be on it. So then I realized so grown up.
Definitely give love to your husband, and thank him very much for doing what he does, man.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Yeah,
All our
thank you.
care workers out
Absolutely. Much respect.
there. Yes,
Thank you.
Yolanda, where you at?
About my needs, guys.
That's right. Well, it's good you got a doctor on call.
Right.
That's special. That's that privilege shit right there.
That's true.
What
That
about you, Yolanda? Where you at? What staircase you dwelling at?
What'd you say?
What staircase you dwelling at?
I am dwelling over by the Hollywood Bowl in LA. You know, usually in New York, but thankful to be here right now with a yard, some space, and have a friend and a cute little dog here. So
Oh, nice.
that's what's happening.
Okay. All right. Rob, what's up, Rob Bass? Where you at?
I'm lonely in Brooklyn, USA. Getting charged twice.
All right, you know, I want to find out. Let's be honest. Let's tell the people that, you know, we ain't all like super intelligent. When did you realize it was real? Like, when's the first time you really took this seriously? Because I realized it when they canceled March Madness. I turned on ESPN, and when they canceled March Madness, I was like, oh, something's really going down. Something's really going down. That's a lot of money they did just cancel. So this must be serious. I want to know from you guys, when was the first time you really took this serious?
The boats.
Huh?
All the stuff on the like the carnival line, all the stuff on the boats,
Oh, yeah.
because it kept happening, and they didn't know what it was. And to be truthful, in December, being at home with my parents and watching the news, and I kept hearing about the virus in China, that was like, that was on my mind, because I got sick during mid-December before Christmas, and it was some mess that I didn't know what it was. And, you know, it's like when you're sick and you know what your body does, and what, you know, I've had pneumonia like 1 million times, and I've never had problems breathing and losing the taste and it tasting metallic. So, you know, I kept telling doctors that, and I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. It's not the flu, but I got some stuff that did help me. And once this stuff started hitting, I was paying attention to it, because I was like, I knew I was sick in a way that I had never been sick before. So, you know.
Patient zero? Are you patient zero? Are you the
Hey, you know.
patient zero in December? Oh,
0.1 or 2, but I think a lot of people, you know, in the fall,
yeah,
probably did go through it at some point.
didn't know what it was. Yeah.
The flu, because I know of a lot of people that thought it was one thing, but they didn't feel like how they usually feel.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I was in New York.
How about you, Rob? When you took it serious? I know you was working out with them kettlebells. When did you take it serious? When did you go, okay, I'm not going outside. This is serious.
Man, actually, man, you know, I would say when they shut down the NBA, I was like, you know, I hope they open it back up before the summertime, because the hood needs that. You know, when we ain't got nothing to do in the summertime, the numbers go up. You know, and if I may be honest and the devil's advocate here, to be real frank and honest, the numbers just didn't add up to me for the response. I thought the response was very exaggerated. I thought CNN jumped on it and exaggerated some things. Then when you get the information that you read and find out that they didn't even use those, you know, ships that they were begging for in New York City, 183 people. Well, they could have found 183 beds somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
People I talk to that work in the hospital system, it's getting different stories, man. And now you're hearing this story about Fauci actually supporting the laboratory in Hunan, and how, you know, I don't want to make this, you know, a political thing. Don't ask me shit about politics, Dre. Let's keep this active. Keep this active.
You went from the NBA to politics real quick. You had something to say.
And you know how brothers get. It's a conspiracy.
Keep me out of that shit.
Yeah, man. I can tell you've been locked down by yourself for a while. You want to say something. I feel you. How about, all right, Jordana, you said your husband's a doctor. When did you take it serious? Like, when did you find out? You must have had the heads up like a year ago.
Yeah. No, I got sort of more current immediate information about like the testing because of the nature of his work, of like how slow we were to receive the tests that we needed to receive, and how pitiful that response time was. I didn't take it serious. My NBA was the Billie Eilish concert. So I had tickets to go to the Billie Eilish concert, of course, and so when that got canceled, I was like, what? And then shortly after that, they were talking about canceling my kid's school, and so, you know, so that got serious for me in terms of like what daily life shift is gonna be like, and and then shortly after, we had a friend who got sick and got very sick from it, like who got it, tested positive, and got very, very sick and recovered, but yeah, so it was around that Billie Eilish time, which I think was around the same NBA time. I don't know. Do we have any crossovers?
Russ, I know you got 2 kids deep right now, and you homeschooling 2 kids. When did you find out? When did you really take it serious?
I took it seriously when, like, basically in the beginning of March, like late February. Yeah, like late February, whatever. I had to, you know, and especially when you got kids, my wife's like, you know, don't go nowhere, wash your hands. Like, mothers get on that stuff early. Like, so the house was automatically like sterile from like the end of February. My wife was like, okay, she was just on it. So we took it seriously pretty much from jump in like February, you know, when you started hearing about cases and stuff like that in Washington, in Seattle and stuff like that. And because of the kids, man, it's serious. You know, you want to give your wife a hug. Don't touch me. Wash your hands. Hey, man, give you a kiss. You wash your mouth. What you doing?
Take more showers together. That's all. Take more showers together. Ain't that how that works?
You've had kid, you don't get nothing.
Well, you know what? Okay, I mean, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Was anybody working on a production that got shut down? Like, what was that like? Rob, you shaking your head real quick, like the money stopped.
When I took it serious, when they was like, yeah, we gonna get your ass back to the U.S. And I was like, but I'll chill in Canada. You know? I'm in Vancouver. You know, it's nice up here. You know, I'm chilling. Nah, you on the plane in the morning, go back. So I was working with Sandra Bullock and Viola Davis with this Netflix project called Unforgiven. And then had the Stranger Things lined up for like the week after that. And they just basically was like, nope, all this stuff is getting pushed. First, they pushed it back for 2 weeks. And then they played with that little bit of language. And then after that, a couple days later, they was like, nah, you going home.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. How about anybody else working on something that got stopped? Russell, were you doing the Bone Collective?
No, we had finished at the end of January. So I was cool. And, you know, it was just, I was happy. So it was cool. We were just being in New York, you know, taking the kids to school, just doing family stuff, you know what I mean? And, you know, tried to we already, it was full throttle. But yeah, so no, we were done. I was happy for that, grateful.
Yolanda, you always working on something. Was you working at the time, or were you lucky during the break?
Well, we had, our season got pushed back, so we ended in December, just doing ADR, and then
That's for the Shy, right?
Yeah, for the Shy, and actually because of everything that's going on, they moved up the premiere date, so that's now the end of June 21st.
Okay.
So yeah, just that, and meetings about financing for my own stuff, and that was weird how everything just sort of kind of stopped because people didn't know what they were going to be doing, like offices closing and stuff like that.
Jordana, I know you act, you direct, you produce. Were you working on something or raising money for something?
Yeah, I got really, really lucky in that I shot a pilot and we finished like the week before you started hearing that productions were closing. And it was funny, we were in, not funny, we were in Vegas, actually, like the week before, you saw those pictures of Vegas, like completely empty. That was really surreal. But I feel so grateful that we got that finished. So waiting to hear on that, but I'd be so curious to hear, Yolanda, what were the things that you were getting going, and what is the sense of, are they in the TV space or the independent?
There was one in a TV space because, and I was lucky too to just finish shooting something for that, and and we were editing it, and it just sort of. What I found was that, because I was talking to a showrunner, talking to network people, the network stuff just sort of, we're looking at stuff, we're trying to figure out how to get these other productions going. And then the writers are just crazy because everybody, wants content ready to go.
Yeah.
So, because it was a writer showrunner. So it's just been kind of interesting. And money-wise, people, they're trying to figure out what's going on, as far as other things they already had going. So.
Wow. Well, I wasn't working on anything, so it's like just another day for me. I mean, pretty much. So.
Well, I think also
I want to say that
it's somewhat the advantage of actors though, because we're used to stints of unemployment. You know what I mean? And so you prepare for the worst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to be employed for anywhere from a month to 6 to 9 months or whatever like that. And so I think, especially as being veterans, we're used to squirreling away some dough, putting it over here and knowing, hey, I might not go back. I might not get back in the game for a little bit. So let me keep, so we're all, I think artists
Financial
are generally.
aptitude.
Say again?
Financial aptitude is very important.
Man, you got to have it.
Yeah.
You got to go through some lean times to
as far as creativity now, what are you guys doing to stay like? I mean, I'm an artist. I need an audience. I need people. Do you find yourself on the phone? Do you find yourself writing, reading more? Like, what are we doing? What are you watching on TV? What are we doing to occupy these 24-hour days? These are long days, man. When you can't go outside, they're long days.
I'm blessed to be an introvert in times like this, and I have no problems picking up this guitar that I'm learning more stuff with on YouTube. Trying to get my guitar skills up. I've been writing, finished the first draft of something because, in our business, oftentimes you don't get the roles that you see yourself playing. So you got to create it yourself, So I wrote this, me and a partner friend of mine, John Lord, finished the first draft of something that's got my agents and managers pretty excited, and I'm excited. And now I'm working on another one since that went so well. So yeah, I've been pretty much trying to like write and create. Turn some of this heat and energy I have into something positive for me.
Now, how are you and your partner been writing? Have you been just like going back and forth online, or you're meeting
on the phone? Well, Google has a platform that allows us to do sharing and stuff like that pretty easily. The Google Notes and all that. So we just bounce back and forth. I'm following his lead. He's very well versed in film writing, and I'm pretty good with some ideas. So. Basically, that's how it started. He heard an idea that I had, and he was like, "Look, man, I'll show you how to write this thing if you're patient." And I was like, "No problem." And he just basically like, because for me, I tried to approach the writing as, oh, I'm about to write this whole thing right now. So you start with page 1, page 2. Then by the time you get to page 10, you like, I don't know what's going, where am I going? It's a block. And then you stop and then you put the idea away. So he showed me that basically you write the story out in detail first, write it out from start to finish, right? How you want. I know I'm getting this gem away from everybody. Yeah, write this story out from start to finish, then write your beats out, right? And have it, and then go in and put your dialogue in, and you could actually see what you need, what you don't, cut away, see what's working, see what's not, because you already have the whole story written out. So that just really helped me a lot, and that's what we did to write this draft we got floating out right now. So yeah.
Congratulations. How about you, Yolanda? How you staying productive? Creatively or not, or maybe not productive. I mean, tell the truth, man. Maybe you're not doing nothing but
I mean, I got stuff written already, and there's stuff that I need to write, you know, for other things. But I feel for me, because I feel like my brain never stops, and that's an issue to where it can get me really frustrated because people are not moving at the pace that I am moving, and you're constantly going up against closed doors, and it's just frustrating. So I feel like for me, my best thing is to try and keep calm and keep, you know, go outside, make sure I see some nature, and just sort of keep myself at a level place so I don't get too pissed off about things, you know. And then, you know, I feel like you have those high and low days with this stuff because, you know, it's like I got people that do have to go out. You know, I'm fortunate where I don't have to go out necessarily. But, you know, when you do have people that got to be out and amongst other people, that it's a scary thought, you know, with so many people dying. Yeah.
Jordana, you staying productive? Are you still working on projects? Are you still doing monologue?
Yeah, well, I had like, it's funny, the managing expectations has been a big thing for me because I felt at the beginning of this, I was like Rob, I'm actually really comfortable being at home by myself. So I'm the quarantine aspect of it. Only I think this week have I started to get like a little bit like, yeah, my kid could probably use a play date, you know. You know, now we're in a place where we can access nature, but she's just like, she calls it the nature because she's a city kid. So she's like, does mommy need to go out and do the nature again? Can you just go look at a fucking tree, please? What I tell you, if we go look at a goddamn tree, we'll come right back inside. Yeah. So like at first I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna get that script that I started. I'm gonna finish it. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna come out of this with like my thing, and it's gonna have a ribbon on it. And it's gonna be amazing. And then the more I realized like how much I need to prioritize what my kid needs in this, it made me really have to kind of just manage the expectations. And so then I said, okay, well, I'm going to start waking up really early before she wakes up. But as you guys know, Russell, I'm sure you know really well right now with a 2 and a 5-year-old, they smell you. If you wake up early, they're like, oh, great, it's time to let's just get up early. Let's just play. And so now I've started to do late nights, which often just leads me to like spending way too much time on the Kardashian Instagram page. And like, so that's not a great, and with like a cocktail, it's not a good place. I don't know. I'm trying to like day to day, I'm trying to figure out what the rhythm should be. So I'm sure the second I figure it out, they'll be like, all right, everybody, go outside and play.
Yeah. So Russell, you being a theater man, I know Broadway shut down. That was really scary when Broadway shut down. What are you doing? Are you a writer too?
No, I mean, I'm not a writer, but I'm not being productive at all. There's no productivity happening at all. And I kind of gave over to that, you know what I mean? Because the thing is, the reality of it is, as Jordana was saying, with kids, you can't, as an artist, you just need time. You know what I mean? Like you need, like I'm sure for writers, you need 6 hours to write 2 pages. You know what I mean? Just to kind of go through that evolution of just how you think and what you want and to sort of get your spirit at ease and all of those things. And the truth is with kids, you just can't, there is no time. And I was trying to work on a project that we're trying to develop with some colleague friends of mine. I just told them, man, it's not gonna happen. They'd send you pages and treatments and stuff like that, and you read it, let's get the notes back, and I'm like, it ain't happening. Like, because you don't have there's just no time. You know what I mean? Like, like even if I go into the room by myself for a half hour, you hear them in the background, and then within 15 minutes they come in knocking on the door, open the door. You know what I mean? Hey, hold on. So you just said, I'm telling them it ain't happening, and then you don't have any creative energy. Like, there's no just that euphoric feeling it has when an idea pops in your head, and just, you know what I mean, you're reading a passage and then you just put it down, you just this shit ain't happening.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean,
so I let it go.
I just locked myself in my car, like on my car. I locked myself in the car, and I just thought, I try to do a little bit of writing, and I got into this whole Instagram on the phone. I did the 24-hour plays. They did a little monologue that was going viral. I did that, and just working on the Instagram stories. Shadow Flack, Rob Morgan be having some real good IG stories and stuff. Are you guys on your phone a lot? Do you find that world to be enticing to you? Doing IG live conversations and stuff like that? Nobody, right?
No. Not me.
Well, it's really weird doing these conversations, and I found that it makes me feel a weird kind of isolation, because you don't have the energy from the person right there. Even though I can see y'all, it's like this weird kind of disconnect, and I find myself just wanting to like, it's like I just want to like walk up and just go watch it from my bed and not be in it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I dibble and dabble on IG, but I think that's just like I'm really not a good social media guy. I don't even have my name on the social media. My agents and them be like, man, put your name up there. You'll get followed. I'm like, damn, I don't want my name up there. And for some way, somehow, I still, get the punishment for my IG, because they're like, you need to take that down, man.
That's right. I get that. I get the don't press send. My manager, agent be like, no, don't. That's not a good idea. It sounds funny, but you can't type it.
Yeah, right. But I'm like, yo, man, isn't this where we come and escape and have a good time and have people take their minds off the rudimentary routine of their day, and have a place that they can escape and see some personality and some flair, and they'll be like, but it's in the Me Too movement and it's enough and all this, and you're towing the line. And I'm like, damn, it's just some titties on Instagram. Like, the titties in commercials in London. Like, you wake up to some titties in Paris. Like, what's the matter with titties on Instagram? Because it's on my page, but it's titties all over. Can I say?
Yeah.
Well, you said it. You was about to say, can I say it? You just said it about 50 times.
I'm telling you, Russell, he's been alone for a long time, Russell. He's been alone. He's been on lockdown for a minute. So you guys think when this is all, like when productions finally come back and go back into the hustle and the grind, do you think on-set life is going to be different? I mean, when they go last look, hair, makeup, and wardrobe is in your face. Everybody's breathing in your face. Like,
skeleton crews, yo.
Huh?
You don't have to
skeleton crews. I think it's going to be as few crew members as possible. You know what I mean? No guests coming on. I think it's going to be masks in between sets, no love scenes. Yeah. I think it's going to be some serious, cutbacks, and when you go from a 250 man crew to probably like 125.
Might be interesting to think like what shows will end up getting picked up given their logistical natures.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are really intimate, like the really intimate shows, they just don't work without the intimacy or whatever. So then you just lose those shows? Like what?
But what about the big budget? If Russell is true, I mean, the big budget, there's a lot of people. You need a lot of hands on deck for all those Marvel joints. That's a big crew. Are you saying they're going to be shut down?
I think it's going to take time. I think TV becomes the test case. I think because you have a more controlled environment generally on television, right? And especially probably like single camera, like, sitcoms or something like that, where you have one set maybe or couple sets. It's all indoors. very few, if any, locations. So I think those will be easier to work with versus something, you know, a show or a movie that needs to be all out in the city and all over the place, stuff like that. So, and TV is more constructed in that vein of, okay, we have a controlled environment. We have 1 or 2 sets, 3 sets, and it's all here in the studio on stage and we're good, you know. But when you talk about big locations, I think it's going to be a challenge.
At the same time, I think Hollywood took a real hit in the gut right now, especially with the time where a lot of pilots and things of that nature would be getting shot. And when it does lift, I think it's going to be an open market that if you have something interesting and an idea that people will support, I think the green light pen will be a little more active to fill in these spaces. And what you going to say, brother?
I agree with you. I think that what's going to happen is it's going to make it challenging and difficult because you know how we're all used to doing 2 and 3 and 4 projects at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
okay, we got to negotiate the out and I got to be back here by Tuesday. And I think that's going to limit a lot of the green lights because you're not going to be able to cross pollinate. You know what I mean? Like we were able to do before, you know? So I think everybody's going to have to be a lot more, just, you know, thorough in their dealings, right? So it's like, you know, you ask yourself, okay, are they gonna have to quarantine actors, guest stars? Are you gonna have to like come in and sit for a week before you get all set? And then are you gonna have to like be committed to that one show or whatever for, if you're recurring for the full, you know, 3 months or 2 months, whatever it is, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of questions to be asked and answered in that vein, you know, moving forward.
You think we're not gonna shoot on location no more? You think it's gonna be more set studio, built in, like where they can contain everything, and shoot not on location no more?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent Rob back from Canada, like you got to go, homeboy.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with COVID though.
No.
Well,
yeah, it's crazy. You think, but what about Broadway? Like, when do you think people are gonna be comfortable enough to go back to a theater and sit in a theater? And how about movie theaters? A movie theater is everything on now 500 channels? Is everything on Netflix?
Well, what degree does I guess it depends also on like the immunity, the antibody testing, and if that's and if in fact because they haven't quite proven, right? Or I don't know. I'm not obviously. I played a doctor on TV and that didn't go very well. But
I gotta ask Cardi B. She's the only one that knows the truth about the coronavirus, so I'll find out.
But like, does the antibody testing, does that, it's not proven yet that in fact means that you're not still, contagious. I think that's not proven yet. But I think once we get a sense of what that antibody testing can do, or if we get rapid testing, like rapid result testing on positive, negative, I think that will be a big indicator of, you know, once that, like, seems like there can't be major change until there's major change in the way we're able to test. No? Or what do you guys think?
Like everything else, people are going to be real strict at starting, and then it's going to get lax. It's going to loosen up. Money talks, baby. Money talks. Unfortunately, we're in a society where money talks, and they're going to be strict until they be like, look, we willing to offer this. Either you going to come get it or not. and you know what? Cat's going to go get it.
Cat's gonna go get it, and they're gonna have you sign that waiver.
Word.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Because I mean, did you hear about, like, in Europe where they were talking about, you know, people in certain high risk categories just not coming to work, not having them, you know, on sets, and it's like, you know, maybe in those countries they'll pay you, but over here, you know, we don't get paid right as is. So to then say, oh, somebody in a high risk category, whether you're older or you got a pre-existing condition or something, then what? How do you deal with that? Are you gonna lose a job because of that, or, you know, or what?
You think this? I mean, you think this this whole system and setup is going to be helpful to independent films? Because you were saying, Russell, smaller sets, smaller cast and crew. You think this might be a resurgent for a lot more independent films and not the big budget?
I think so, but again, I think my big thing is about controlled environment. You know what I mean? So again, so we're talking about, you know, what can happen that's indoors first. Limit your locations, and then limit having to work outdoors on location. So right, so I think all of those things can help all films, but it's about that. So I think it's like, it's okay. Are you shooting in one room? You need to just shoot the house. Are you shooting? Is everything indoors? You know, how many outdoor locations do you need? I think that's going to be a concern first, and then they'll sort of branch out from there. But oh, I'm sorry, real quick. I think it's everything like Rob said. It's about money.
Yeah.
So, you know, are they going to be quick to start handing out that money for films early on? I think the studios and the networks are in the pole position right now, more so the networks, because they got the money. You know what I mean? So they got the money to implement all the necessary precautions and put everything in place to get, you know, make sure that everybody is taken care of, everybody's protected, all of those things. And I think as they see, they're going to set the marching order, so to speak. And as people sort of follow suit, then people see that working, then, okay, we got more money for you. We got more money for you. We can do some independence. Okay, let's open up the budgets and the scope of the films. You know, that's going to take, I think, 6 to 9 months.
Hollywood's going to be the Sweden of all this.
I've been getting a lot
Sweden
of.
ain't shut down. Sweden was like, look, we going to hold out, see how long this goes. Yeah, we got a couple people dying, but we going to manage ourselves. Seriously. Y'all ain't see that?
No, I saw it. You're right.
Sweden like, look, man, we going to take this day by day. Chill out. Relax.
I've been seeing a lot of animation. I think animation has been getting really, really big because that's something they can really control. Everybody can just be in the booth by themselves, say their part. I've been seeing animation auditions a lot more in the past, like maybe 4 or 5 months. You guys been feeling that?
Oh yeah,
it makes sense.
It does.
Oh, but I'm available.
Yeah, let them know I'm available too. They don't tell me nothing. Look, I'm available.
Like radio type plays are coming up. You know what I mean?
Oh, I would love that.
I've gotten offers to, you know, to do like, I don't know what they call it, like radio podcast plays or something like that.
Stuff.
Yeah, where it's like a radio play, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming with that. So yeah, no, this would be a lot.
It's just weird.
But like you said, money.
like
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza.
Like how long can you think New York can take Broadway being shut down?
I mean, you know, until it's right.
You think until it's right? I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that.
Well, because here's the thing, though.
Row, like the staggering method that they're talking about too, right? So then, can it run with like how many audience members do you need for a show to run? Like how much capacity do you need so you can separate the seats? You know.
I mean, ticket prices go up then, right? I mean,
bottom line.
Yeah.
Keep the
I think Broadway's one thing, but then like off Broadway, like the smaller theaters, you know, what does the Atlantic do? What does the Signature Theater Company? What are they able to do? You know, places like that. But also you have to look at casts, right? You have to look at, you know, are they gonna limit, you know, do smaller casts now, and you know, the same thing about testing, like they're gonna do for the athletes. You know, being able to test people, and even for us, you know, sign a waiver.
Sign a waiver, right? Oh, look, the warden came. I think our 30 minutes is up. We're gonna start taking questions.
I feel like we're in trouble all of a sudden.
I gave you an
What's up,
extra
Paul?
5, actually.
It was Rob.
What I do?
So what's up, Paul? You got some questions for us?
Yeah, we do actually. Well, Chris asks, what has been your favorite role to play? And also says, thank you for doing this.
Okay. Anybody want to jump in? What's your favorite role to play?
The one that's paying.
Yeah, the next one.
The next one and the one that's paying.
My new animated series.
That's right. The offer only one, where I ain't gotta dance and jump through hoops. The one that just says, we just want to give you that part, sir.
Word. The offered one.
Yeah,
I'm joking, but we see.
And when do you remember me by? I mean, hey,
Yeah, the one that brings the mailbox money. Yeah.
So Darian says, hi Darian, if the new norm is actually to have people on location, so everyone is together and not traveling, hanging out with people offset, would you consider productions that keep you away from home for the duration of filming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, the last place I want to be is home right now. I'm such a people person. I got cabin fever, so the next job that takes me anywhere outside of LA, I'm ready to go to.
And fortunately for me, I don't have like wife and kids to be hunkered down to or responsible for. So I have the freedom right now, by the grace of God, that I can go wherever the check is at. So yes, I'm willing to travel. Have check, will travel.
I think I'm a traveling circus now. So my family's going any and everywhere that I go. Wherever the money flows, that's where we go. And honestly, now with the whole, Zoom and like homeschooling, is more of a viable. No, I mean, it's more of a viable option. I mean, we really have romper room up in our apartment right now. You know what I mean? Like pictures of flags and counting numbers and everything like that. So wherever we go, we'll just go as a family, and you can just teach and let kids and learn remotely for however long you're gone for.
That's a really interesting point, though, Russell. I was curious about that one because I heard that theory before, that idea before of like, would you just basically quarantine with the film set and or with the film crew and everything? And my question is for people with young families, does that mean they can't, will you be able to bring your young family with you?
Jordana, you can bring your whole family because you got a doctor. They're gonna say yes to you and the whole family right away.
Exactly.
As long as you pick Dr. Hubby, you good.
Right? Well, I travel with my own personal physician. And,
nice.
So that's a real question for me. There's will that include people with young families? Mm-hmm. And what do you do? You can't be away from, or what do single parents do? Or can you? You
can bring the whole family, but you lose per diem. That's it. That's how that goes down. You bring the whole family, but that per diem is cut down.
Yeah.
I was seriously considering though, because we shoot my show here in New York, that when our show gets picked up, that I was gonna honestly send my family back to LA because that's where my wife's family is, and grandma, grandpa, and auntie and stuff like that, and then me stay here and almost do a self-quarantine where it's basically work and home, and for however long we're doing it, and try to just kind of be as safe as I possibly can while I'm working, and send the family home, and then if anything happens, it's just me, quite honestly. So for this time around, then obviously as things get bigger and expand, we'll go year by year or whatever, and we go next. Okay, now feels a little bit more comfortable bringing our family around, bringing them back out.
Sherry has a question about any of you who've worked with green screens and whether big budget movies will move more towards green screen performances, and can you comment about those performance and working methods when you're working between a live performer and working with green screen?
I've read somewhere that they were going to kind of separate principal cast and shoot them separate, and then if it's background and things of that nature, they would green screen them in. I don't know how legitimate that was, but I did read something about that. And I haven't worked on anything with that kind of budget, so you must ask the other actors present about how it is to work on green screen. So I can't elaborate on that.
I can only speak for humans. I don't know about green screening either.
Yeah, I haven't really done that really much either. I mean, I've never donned a cape or nothing like that, so
I haven't done green screen at all that much, but I know that most actors, I've worked with some real highfalutin actors where I do my scenes to the little X that's to the camera. The actors don't want to be on set, so there might be a lot of that going on where you just act to the tennis ball, or you act a little right up to the side. That might be more prevalent nowadays.
That's you Brooklyn green screen, huh? Acting towards the X.
I don't mind on
Talk to the X right here, Jay.
I got it on mine, right?
Go talk to the C-stand. Tell your line to the C-stand, Dre.
Ooh, Dre, that's so funny.
Stephen asks, as actors, how do you feel as we start to shoot again with the reality that maybe all crew members will be wearing masks except for you?
Hey, listen, that morning breath was horrible in the morning. For them little 5 a.m. call times, I don't mind the mask. Wear the mask, though.
Wear the mask, crew.
That morning breath and that craft service table had everybody's breath smell like
coffee breath, huh?
Check marks the spot.
Yeah, I don't mind a mask, man. I don't mind a mask.
At all. At all.
I don't mind that.
Everybody's happy to see the end of the communal trays of food at the craft service.
Oh, I know. Everybody could be getting a box lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'll grab some of those. Everybody's happy to see those go.
Yeah.
Jesse has asked questions that you have kind of answered about feeling safe going back to work, but specifically, what do you think of Atlanta opening up this early? With so much production in Atlanta, of course.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like Rob said, it's about that money and it's about trust. If you want to get that check and you want to go gamble, you know, you're gonna go and do it. And I feel like as actors or any artist, everything is a gamble. Like, you know, work, no work, money, no money. You're gonna take the shot, and you're just gonna be, you know, listen more to what your mom said back in the day. Wash your hands, give everybody a little distance. You're gonna take more precaution, but you're still gonna chase that check. I mean, this is what we do for a living.
And you know, also with film and television, and just, you know, I look at film and TV as the last industry in America, or of America. You know what I mean? Like this is manufacturing. We make movies, we make television. This is the last real blue collar industry, you know, that we have left, and we really have to do everything we can to preserve it. You know what I mean? And I mean, I think so. We need to respect it and respect the time and respect everyone's health. But man, movies and TV, man. I mean, this is the last industry where a person with a high school degree or GED can come out and get paid.
Yeah.
You know, like you could in the factory days, like you could working at the plant. Like, you know, you think about it, the film set or a Broadway stage is the plant.
Yeah.
And
You know
I'm
what I mean?
extremely proud to be a part of this industry, especially in times like this. And I think it has to be noted and highlighted how what we do is what's pulling people through. They already shown how streaming platforms are at an all-time high, how all these things around the arts and around storytelling is really helping our country and this world pull through. Now, if only the industry that we're in could recognize that and show us that kind of love when it starts back up, that's to be seen. But I'm extremely happy and proud to be a part
I thought we did this just for the love. I thought this is why we became artists. We became artists to just do it for the love, right?
I'm doing this today for the love.
For the love. Word. Word.
This is for the love.
That's right. All they gotta do is say the camera's on. You know we're gonna show up. We'll talk bad about it. We're gonna show up. We're gonna go on that subway platform and sing. Goddamn.
This is for the love.
This is for the love. Word. That's so true.
Thank you so much, Film Independent, for giving us a platform that we could just talk about us and be around other people, hear other voices, see myself on screen. I still look good.
I prepared a small monologue.
Yeah.
Dramatic or comedic? Which one you want?
It is a little crazy that this is the only industry where the demand for the product is so high, and yet the industry cannot supply more product because it's shut down. Whereas, like, the supermarkets have lines around the block, but the film business can't produce anything else now.
It just made more of a platform for the social media. TikTok is booming.
Yeah.
TikTok is booming. Instagram is booming. Twitter, like, you know, it's like the new reality TV.
Embarrassment is booming. It's big business.
Always has been. Always has.
You dig it. That's touche.
Question for you, Andre.
Oh, okay.
From Laura, says, I know I'm late to the party, but my husband and I are deep into the wire during the quarantine, and you continue to blow us away and win our hearts, Bubs. how did you find him? He's so heartbreaking complex. How did you find him? Was he on the page? How is he to look back at now in today's TV climate?
I think his lightning in a bottle, so to speak, where the writing was fantastic. He was the substance was on the page, and it was in Baltimore. Like, listen, we shot on location. We was in Baltimore, and Baltimore at that time, I did my research. I talked to a lot of people dealing with the addiction, and I was able to trust that my research and what was on the page, and just my level of integrity to my craft, and just wanting to make sure I don't create a character, but I create a voice of humanity and speaking to the people that we kind of ignore. So it was a little bit of everything that helped me not only get a piece of what Bubbles is about, but to sustain it for like 5 years. You don't really get that kind of chance a lot, but bravo to Baltimore, which was our best cast in The Wire, was the city of Baltimore.
Yeah. The Curvy Critic is listening in. Hi, Carla, and is asking all of you, saying thank you for taking the time to share today. And how do you feel that the pandemic will affect talent participation in junkets and premieres, etc., moving forward? Would you all be happy continuing to do junkets on Zoom?
I would. I mean, I again, as long as I have a platform that I can meet my fellow artists or talk to people, answer questions. I mean, it's a lot more health-wise. It's a lot safer. I'm not gonna miss Comic-Con. I'm not gonna miss going to all those big arenas where the crowds. I'm not gonna miss that. So I'm okay with Zoom. As long as I got my daughter and young kids teaching me how to do it right, so I don't look like an old man leaning all in, so I can read. But I enjoy Zoom. I think it's an interesting platform for us to still connect with our audience.
Yeah, for us, we're going to be doing it too, because I know right now me and Rob are doing it for Bull. And I've started doing stuff for the Shy because we're coming out in June. So it's something that, I think we're all getting adjusted to.
Anyone else?
I'll be excited when we're able to go back and do press junkets. For me, like Yolanda said earlier, like I appreciate and enjoy the interaction with people. I appreciate the feel, the touch, just the human interaction. Whether it's fun or not, or whether you get bored or, walking through big crowds and, hey, like that's part of it. And I can't lie and say, yeah, I got into it for the love 20 something years ago, but now that all that's here, I don't want it to go.
Russ and I used to roll 20 years ago when he was at NYU.
Yeah, I was up here. I came up from BU, but I was here. Yeah, and it was like the early mid-90s.
We was running in Brooklyn together 20 years ago. Then you broke out, and I was like, "Where you go?" And then I saw him on TV. I was like, "Oh, that's where he went." Yeah, 20 plus years ago, man.
20 plus years.
We're all 20. Took 20 years to become an overnight success. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
But I love interacting with the people too. I love when they give me a budget so I can get some clothes made and go on the red carpet, and style a little something, some
That's
African
right.
Barbs, I appreciate interacting with the people. I think I like the people's reaction more than the awards. Actually, I'd rather hear somebody just say, "Hey, man, I love your work," and keep it moving, than somebody talking about throwing me in a competition for an award that I ain't know nothing about or didn't even know existed. And then I couldn't even win it because it was all political anyway. So, I like being in touch with the people that actually see your stuff and get moved by your stuff, and you can see it, hear it in their voice. That I love that too. I do love that.
And also, just real quickly, just also seeing your fellow artists too, like when you're on those junkets or when you're at these festivals, stuff like that, like those are the few times nowadays when we get to see each other. Like, other actors you're fans of or whatever like that, and say, hey, I love your work, like fellow actor, fellow singer, fellow whomever. And that's, because everybody's working so much. You know, people don't hang like you used to. And also we're older, everybody's got families, everybody's doing different stuff. So you don't hang like you did in your early 20s, you know, when we could just chill out, have a drink, go get some dinner, go after a show, after a play, and hang out all night. And, you know, that stuff don't happen anymore. So when you're on the junket or on the press tour or whatever, seeing other actors and, you know, it's like, salute. It's a good time to do that too.
Listen, Russell, it will always happen with me. You want to go have a drink, you want to go hang out, man. It's not stop with me. I don't care how old I get, how big the family. We gonna hang out.
I heard that, Chicago.
What about auditioning for parts or reading for parts or meeting directors for a part? Do you think Zoom could ever replace a face-to-face meeting?
It's already happening.
It already has, I think. Yeah.
So much auditioning has become self-taping that I think it will just be a natural progression of that. Which is a shame, which I really think is a shame. I think you lose a lot sending in a self-tape versus being in a room with somebody. That's a real shame. Yeah. But that was happening anyway.
Right.
None of that.
What about like that face-to-face meeting, the parts that you can get from a meeting alone and meeting over Zoom?
You know, by the grace of God, most of my work, I would say 85% of my work come from people that want to work with me. Like directors or producers literally will say, hey, let's get that Rob Morgan and get that flavor in our project, you know. And that's been my success for like the past, I'd say, since Mudbound came out. I really haven't auditioned at all, to be honest. And I've kind of set it up that I appreciate the offers. I appreciate when somebody says, hey, we enjoy what you bring to the table and we'd like to have that a part of our lead too. You know what I mean? That inspires me. You know, something about that just really turns me on when it's like an offer or somebody actually says, hey, we want to work with you. Because I've been 20 plus years of doing the auditions and in there and getting, you know, the great feedback. But then when it gets to a certain particular level, I get turned away. Either it's because the producer didn't found somebody else that they wanted, or, you know, whatever reason, somebody's cousin was up for the role, you know, whatever reason, some rapper was up for the role. So, you know, it was all those things that was really like, you know, limiting me getting the role. And now, by the grace of God, I just pick up the phone when they're like, yo, man, we want to work with you. And I get excited about that, you know, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. I
think we all get excited by offers.
Yeah.
When they're good ones.
Yeah.
Work begets work. We're in the industry that work begets work. You know what I mean? Right. Your work is your best agent. When people come to me and talk about, oh, how is it? What agent should I get? Who should I get as an agent? And I'm like, look, man, your work is your best agent. Trust me.
That's right.
When your right agent sees your work, they're going to reach out to you and they're going to be like, look, man, we're ready to take you to the next level. But until then, make your work be your best agent. That's it. Don't even think about trying to book and all that shit. Just get out there and bang. Get out there.
You say work begets work, but better work begets better work.
Work. That's really what it is, man.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Like, you got, and then believe in that too. Believe in that your work is your best work. Because if you sit there thinking that you ain't doing shit because of an agent or a manager ain't doing it for you, then you limiting yourself. You handcuffing yourself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I ain't mean to go on a tangent, but.
Yeah, brother, passion, brother.
That's it, man. Education, man, preach.
And that's actually really helpful to hear too, because that is such a toxic place to be in too. It just feels so shitty to be in that space that you're describing. So that's actually helpful to hear, you know. Yeah.
It wouldn't be the game or the business without it, really. You know what I mean? And it just,
you gotta learn. You gotta
learn. You gotta go through it. Yeah, you know. What did August Wilson say? You got to take the crooked with the straight.
Right.
You know, so a lot of crookeds, boy. A lot of crookeds. You know, and even when you're working, you're not satisfied, you know, because the money ain't right and the role ain't right. And, you know, you're up against roadblocks creatively with producers, directors, you know what I mean? Yeah. Say it once more with feeling.
You want to hear?
Could you do the same thing but smaller?
Yeah.
Smaller.
Just throw the line away. Throw it away. Just throw it away.
Has
Right.
Jerome been taking
Throw it away.
elocution classes?
Listen, it's not about. This line's not about you. It's not about you, right? Just let it go. Let it go.
Don't even think about it. Just throw it away. Just say the shit. Let's go.
Write it.
Yeah, we like that thing you do. Do that thing.
But Russell, is it with the neck too? It is.
No, because this is the thing. Listen, I got in a fight with John Amos. We were doing a play at the McCarter Theater in New Jersey, Princeton, and we were doing Jimmy the Ocean. And there was a moment, we were in rehearsal, and when John Amos came out of the door, and he was yelling and screaming, and he was James Evans. And it was like, and I started laughing. And we in the middle of a scene on the thing, and I started laughing. He said, motherfucker, what's so funny? And I was like, oh shit. And this was like in 2005. John Amos was still like, he was slow, right? He was young. And he said, motherfucker, what's so funny? He said, do I look like I got a motherfucking chicken on my head, motherfucker? I'll whoop you. And I was like stunned. He said, I'll whoop yo. And they literally had to set us apart. Come to find out later, they had to pull us apart. And come to find out later, the next day he said, hey brother, let's go to breakfast, whatever like that. Come to find, we sitting at breakfast, and we were both kind of doing like, hold me back. Because he said to me, now I'm sitting there, I'm scared of him. Because he was still thick and rich, and he was yoked, and he's looking at me. He was like, yo, you 30 years old, you yoked. So we realized we were both scared of each other, and wasn't nothing gonna happen. But he scared me with that, because he was giving that James Evans with the belt action.
With the belt.
Wow.
He was like, and when you said like, Russell, what's this? And this reminded me when John Amos came out, he was doing that, and I was like, I just couldn't help but laughing because I could just see James Evans. I'm sorry for cursing, y'all.
We are pretty much out of time, unfortunately. Apologies to everyone who asked questions and we didn't have time to get to. But our last question for everyone we ask at all these coffee talks is just, what are you watching? What is Bubbles watching? What's Lincoln Rhymes watching? Let us know your picks. It can be an old classic or a hidden gem. Feel free to dig deep.
I ain't gonna go too deep. I'm gonna let you know with the libations, Our Planet and Planet Earth is always fantastic, man. There's always a winner, a loser. I love the nature. It takes me places with the libations.
What's a good drink with Planet Earth?
Anything. Neat. Not on the rocks. Neat.
Anything neat.
Okay. Russell?
I'm watching.
I actually got the Criterion app.
Oh,
I went back and I started, I went on it was a thing that Sammy Davis Jr., not Sammy Davis Jr., what's his name? Quincy Jones, movies he scored. And so I just went on a Rod Steiger kick. So I went
Pawnbroker.
The Pawnbroker in the heat of the night. You know what I mean? And just I watched that like 2 nights ago, and then they had Uptown Saturday Night.
Oh,
and
last night,
I was like, man, it was just pure joy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all. I didn't want to get too deep with it. It was just like, it's fun. And hey, Bill Cosby was funny. I don't care what nobody say.
Right.
People forget that Quincy Jones wrote some amazing movie scores.
Oh man, yeah, he did some score. He scored the hell out of those films, in the '60s and whatnot. So it was good stuff.
Yolanda?
I saw Justine on Netflix. Really great movie. And Jordana, I saw your movie. Night Comes On. And I watched both of these randomly, like maybe two over the weekend and Monday. Queen Sono series and 000. Those are like my
Netflix and chill. You've been on some Netflix and chill every day, girl.
Amazon, because 000. I mean, I love the writing of that show so much, and that it was international, and it was just it was smart. It was just really smart. And there were some characters in it that were like really deep and unbelievable and really interesting. So that show to me was like it. And Queen Sono, they'll send me to South Africa. I'll be in there next season if y'all want me. But it was so good just to see this girl kicking ass, and both of the women just like it was fun. It was a fun show.
Queen Sono was recommended by our Coffee Talk guest last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Frederica Bailey, the writer of See You Yesterday, recommended that. Jordana?
No,
you're muted.
Yeah, no, I'm on mute. I'm also going down the Criterion Channel wormhole, and I watched the creepiest movie I ever watched in my life. It is called The Cremator.
I want to see it.
It's so good and terrible. And terrifying. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's from the first moment you're like, oh, I'm not watching a normal movie right now, and it just hooks you and you can't stop. But it's evil.
That's on Criterion.
Yeah. The Criterion Channel has been my friend. What's that?
What is that, Bob?
Another Zoom chat I'm on.
You're doing two panels at a time?
I tell you, girl, this Zoom
beast right now, man.
I got people back to back, and today was one of the days, but I had to get involved with but I just wanted to let them know I was being rude for a reason. They're over here looking at me and shit.
Anything else, Jordana?
Well, then I started to watch things that like I can watch with my kid, but that's not just kid stuff, so I don't blow my brains out. So like I've been watching Wes Anderson movies. You can watch those with your kid, and she eats those up just because of their
wow. Which one?
She wonders why everybody's smoking, but it's a lot. You realize when you're watching something with the kid when somebody's smoking, But what did we watch? All of them: Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Moonrise Kingdom, beautiful Tara Hayward, who's in the movie To the Stars that just came out, and we're gonna watch Grand Budapest Hotel. So she loved.
That's what I figured would be good with kids. Yeah,
she loved. And then we watched this like weird musical by Ken Russell called The Boyfriend. Which is like the only Ken Russell movie where he's not like, falling into like a vagina and having some great like hell sequence. But yeah, that one's cute. Like, so movies that like I can watch with her that's been actually nice. That's been actually really nice to find that connection with her together. So it's not just Frozen. Right. And Frozen did a great job, but I've seen it enough.
Finally, Rob.
Oh man, I appreciated Queen Sono. Also, I thought it was a nice, refreshing take on films and stories coming out of Africa, and I wanted to support it, and I loved it. I actually did like it, especially when Yolanda said watching that girl run around kicking ass. It was something fun about that. And then I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos on like, how to make pho. I like pho, the Vietnamese soup. I'm learning how to make my own frittata. You know what I mean? I'm getting my cooking skills up, because, I'm a brother that loves good food. So I'm using this time to really enhance stuff that's going to enhance the rest of my life. So I've been doing more cooking videos and things of that nature, guitar videos. Watching Jordana Spiro Murder Ozark, that's one of my favorite shows. Ozark, watching that again. That's been
really fun for everybody to say the last season was so great, but it's the one I'm not in.
Nah, just Ozark is
really
dope.
fun for me.
Yeah, the whole series is dope though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. Just the way the storytelling and all of it, I really like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching. And myself.
Cool.
And myself.
Well, go ahead, Russell.
Are you guys doing like workouts? Y'all running, push-ups, sit-ups?
Walk.
You walk? How long? What's your walk? How long are your walks generally?
They're like 45 to an hour because we walk around the neighborhood and we got like, hills and steps and stuff.
Okay, right on.
Mask on? With your mask on, right?
Always.
No way.
I don't leave the house without it.
My kid asked me if there was a baby in my belly.
Ooh.
I was like, no, just White Russians.
Damn.
There's a lot of White Russians.
I'm with you.
That's your question. I probably
That's one of those comments only a kid can get away with.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so excited. I was like, no, it's just alcohol, honey.
Yeah, I'm still working out. I love my workouts. Our bodies and our minds are our instruments that we use to basically, survive off of. So I'm very mindful of working out. I still do my kettlebells and steel mace bar workouts and animal flow calisthenics type stuff is my
right on.
Yeah.
What?
Animal flow?
Yeah, animal flow. Yeah, Google it. You'll love it. It's dope. It's dope. Because to tell you about it, you'll be like, huh?
Okay.
But yeah, just imagine yourself moving like an animal.
People are going to be searching for Queen Sono and Animal Flow after this. Right?
Yeah. Animal flow.
What is
Animal flow.
Oh, you know what's cool? Actually, there's something that's really cool. There's I'm terrible at it, but I like dancing for exercise. And there's this app called or Instagram site called Dancing Alone Together, and they list all the Instagram live dance classes that are happening, but like all over the world. So that's actually really kind of cool to see like this technique or this Japanese form of dance or this kind of thing, and attempt to take a class, and then and then after 5 minutes just watch them while you're eating. But it's still kind of cool.
It was International Dance Day yesterday, wasn't it? Or 2 days ago?
I think so.
Yeah, International Dance Day. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you all for participating. This has been a coffee talk with Film Independent. A reminder to everyone listening that today is the last day of our matching challenge. We're trying to raise $80,000 to match. That's going to be matched by a matching challenge raised by the Board of Directors and Friends of Film Independent. So you can go to filmindependent.org/donate to donate. And next week we have 2 coffee talks, one on Monday with Josh Olson, writer of A History of Violence, and then on Thursday with Mariel Heller and Lulu Wang, directors and Spirit Award winners, in conversation with each other. So tune in for those 2. But today I want to thank our guests, Russell Hornsby. Thank you, Russell.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Rob Morgan.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yolanda Ross.
Thanks
for Yolanda. And Jordana Spiro.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for joining us. And my man, Andre Royo, thanks for moderating.
No doubt, man. Good to see everybody, man. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for giving me a little boost of energy and creativity, man. Now I'm about to go something productive.
Be safe, everyone. Stay sane and healthy.
Hey, Dre, when I text you, text me back, man. Call me, man.
Yeah, I will when you have a part from all those projects you're doing. Just start saying no. Say no a couple more times so I get to work, motherfucker.
Hey, Dre, next time you're in Chicago, make sure you come out for drinks.
You know it.
Okay.
There it is. I'll see you later.
Signing off.
All right.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Peace. Stay safe.